Good day, guys, and welcome to Emu-Nation, a place where everything magical happens. No, it doesn't. We talk about anything to do with emulators, anything to do with tech, games, or anything that floats my boat, to be honest. However, for this one today, it's a special. We are focusing purely on the Citra emulator. Now, for those of you who've been out the scene for a while, this is the 3DS emulator, and for a while, we've had it. However, it's had its hindrances, it's had its problems and its issues. Basically, for some period of time now, everything or the majority of games have been emulated. However, they've not been emulated to a standard which I would say fully playable. The past couple of weeks, things have changed. The tides have turned and the world have turned on its axis to grant us permission to play lots of games that I wanted to play beforehand. So without further ado, let's see what's been going on. Okay, so like I said, today we are focusing on purely the Citra emulator. Now, I had all kinds of ideas what I was going to bring you today. However, once I started doing my tests on my different emulators, I banged on Citra and Jesus wept. What progress these guys have been making. Now, Citra, or the 3DS emulator, has been in the works, say for, I don't know, a year or so, and they've been chipping away at it. Many of the games are now playable. However, look in the background, guys. This is me playing this game today. This is me playing all these games today. Now, in the past, many of the games have been compatible, many of the games have been playable, but one of its major issues when emulating the games was its frames per second, its actual game speed. So yes, you could play the games, yes, you could complete them, but what you couldn't do is do it, I don't know, looking good, because it would play too slow, there'd be loads of glitches, it was just a pain in the ass. And that's all you do with the actual way it translates the game code or the game information to our screen. Now, I want to keep this in layman's terms as much as possible. However, one of the major breakthroughs that's happened in the last couple of weeks, in fact, further than that, depending on which fork you're going down, is the introduction to the CPU JIT interpreter. Now, what this means is the way that it translates the actual game code or the game information to our screens. Now, in the past, what had been happening is it had been bottlenecking itself. There was just too much information for it to translate in its rudimental ways to bring it to our screens fast enough for us to be able to enjoy it at full speed. Now what's happened is the JIT interpreter has been recompiled, or it's been reprogrammed. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. It's been rewritten, let's say, so that it interprets it and only looks for the actual information that it needs and tries to bypass as much gumph, as much crap that it doesn't need as possible, therefore speeding up the actual way it's brought to our screens. Now, without getting all technical and crappy and boring, to be honest, what this means is now games are fully playable. If anything, this means that they are too fully playable, and some games may give you fast forward, so the game is emulated so fast that the game speeds up. So what's going to happen now is we're going to have even more forks, there's going to have to be even more development going into there to actually throttle some of these games back, give them more compatibility to give us more of a even frames per second, a more even game speed, because although, yes, getting more frames per second is awesome on Counter-Strike and stuff like that, in this kind of world, frames per second can actually speed up your game so fast that you're playing it in fast forward, and it then becomes unplayable. So, the actual introduction of that kind of stuff is, I don't know, it's a lot simpler to actually throttle a game than what it is to actually speed the game up, especially when it comes in the emulation world. So that's great news. Hopefully we'll see that in the coming future. But for now, this is absolutely unbelievable. I cannot believe the amount of development and the way this is just groundbreaking, out of nowhere for me. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, the last time I looked at the Citra emulator was probably about a month ago. And like I said, it was chipping away. But now, the progress it's made in that month, absolutely unbelievable. So I think I've given you all the information that you need, all the boring stuff. But if you want to get this going yourself, there is loads of places you can get it. However, at this moment in time, the actual official Citra website isn't doing this kind of stuff. It's only a matter of time, but it's still very in its infancy, and it's still very much fork builds which is doing this. In other words, different builders of the emulator other than the official builders. So if you want to find out the various different websites involved and all this kind of stuff, then have a look at my Citra emulator guide. In there, I'll give you loads of information as to do with this kind of build, more in-depth stuff about what these kind of builds can do, and the kind of locations where you're going to find them. It's no good me giving you my build or another build that is close to this, because this is built almost every day. So by the time I upload this, it's outdated. You need to go straight to the source to get this kind of stuff. So again, look at that video. It'll give you all kinds of inklings, information in regards to that kind of stuff. But for now, guys, just take it in. It's absolutely mind-boggling what they've been doing, and it's only good for the future. So I hope you've enjoyed my footage. I hope I haven't bored you to death with all my technical jargon and me trying to rudimentally translate this into layman's terms for you guys, which probably went completely wrong. But I can only try, guys, anyway. But thank you very much for joining me today, guys. Please like, please subscribe. I will give updates to this, and also you will get a fully fledged Emu-Nation episode, well, hopefully tomorrow. So in the meantime, thank you very much. Please like, please subscribe. I've said this about 1,000 times, but most of all, guys, most of all, you have a good day. Laters!